Hey everyone, Jason Verdelli with Experts on Issues. And today we have a really great interview planned for you. It's with Tara Gentile from Tara. Tara is actually an entrepreneur herself. Tara is the creator of the Quiet Power Strategy, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what that is. But her main business is, or her main focus is to help entrepreneurs, to help organizations to market through their clients, to understand their clients, to really listen and focus. So without further ado, we're going to have her talk about that today. And so Tara, welcome to Experts on Issues.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
So Tara, let's dive right in here. Tell us a little bit about your background. I know you've written a few books, which is excellent. It's on your website at taragentile.com. So tell us about how you got to where you are today.
Oh, well, my story is very weird because I don't have any formal business training. I kind of fell into business the way a lot of people do, I think. But I started off as a religion major in college and was kind of on track to do the academic religious studies thing. And it's a topic that I still love. But I fell off of the academic track, sort of, in a moment of panic, and didn't end up doing the master's program that I was all set to do and continue on with that. And I took a retail management job at Borders Books and Music, which of course no longer exists. And I worked my way up there pretty quickly, and I learned about all sorts of things because we had to do everything. I had to do marketing and merchandising. I had to do sales, HR, balance books. I really had to learn all the different pieces of running this $5 million store really, really fast. And so that's how I kind of got my trial by fire, at least sort of business management experience. And then from there, I got married, had a baby, didn't want to be working for someone else anymore. And so, I thought if other people were earning a living online, if other people were earning a living as freelancers, certainly I could do that too, even if I didn't have tons of super marketable skills at the time. And so I did a lot of research. I figured out, what people were doing, what kind of businesses were working, what kind of content people wanted to see to build communities. And I started my first website in 2009. I bought another website 6 months later, and then kind of evolved that so that very quickly, within the first 8 months, I was earning more with my business than I have been in retail management, which honestly is not that difficult. But from there, then I really, I quickly, scaled my traffic, scaled what I was offering, and started producing a better living than I ever thought that I could. And it's really transitioned and evolved into what you see today, which is that, I run a business training company. We offer a variety of training programs to entrepreneurs and business owners. We do everything from marketing to sales to product development to business model development. And our goal is really to be the go-to source for training and information for what I call idea-driven entrepreneurs. So people with a message, people with a methodology, a system, something that they want to put out into the world to make a big impact. And we help them package that up into compelling products and really effective marketing and really profitable business models.
That's excellent. So Tara, moving a little bit further into that, again, just getting into our topic today, which I realized I forgot to mention when we first started. Like I said, informal conversation. For associations that are out there, the topic being today, how to attract new members for an association by simply understanding the existing members. And I think that a lot of what an association deals with, which has a built-in community, which has a built-in system, which naturally has a mission. Usually, that's the first thing that's created, especially in an association. Very cause-driven, very purpose-driven type of organization. With that said, I guess and moving into our topic, what are some of the common flaws that you would say, starting with associations and maybe getting in maybe entrepreneurs? Where are the biggest flaws when it comes to focus with a lot of the organizations that you deal with?
Yeah, so I agree. I think that your customer and my customer has an awful lot in common. And so, one of the big flaws in thinking about attracting new members, attracting new customers that I see people making on a regular basis is a lot of generalization and assumptions. And one of the things that I really work with clients on is getting hyper specific, hyper focused on exactly who they want to attract by looking at the people that they already have within their organization, the people that they wish they could just basically Xerox 1,000 times. So what we do is we encourage people to look at their, favorite 3 to 5 clients, 3 to 5 customers, 3 to 5 members, and say, what is it that these people have in common? What is it that makes them our favorite clients? Instead of trying to say, this is the demographic that I'm going after, or this is the target market that I'm going after. Because what I find what happens when people do that is they miss a lot of opportunities. They miss a lot of details. And, the beauty is in the details when it comes to marketing. Details make all the difference in whether someone immediately resonates with what you're offering in the organization that you have, or whether it's just sort of like, oh, that's kind of interesting, right? And we want people to have that immediate, just kind of visceral connection to what we're offering. And the easiest way to do that is to personalize instead of generalize. So really honing in on who are those ideal members that you already have, and then looking for what they have in common, the specific circumstances, the specific questions, goals, frustrations. What is it about them, not just from a demographic perspective, but really from a psychographic perspective, really from what their personal day-to-day life looks like? And how could you use that to your advantage when you're putting marketing out there, when you're communicating internally, when you're communicating externally? Really, you can use it everywhere to create that vision and communication for your organization that really creates that visceral connection.
Interesting. And what I heard there really is understanding some commonality within the members that are really engaged, the members that you wish you could dig in Xerox in some way, shape, or form. With that though, with the quiet power strategy, Tara, can you explain a little bit about that and how that could apply to an association or a member-driven type of organization?
Sure. So quiet power strategy is all about understanding what makes you or your business uniquely effective. And it's really starting with your strengths. And it's very similar to what I just described in that it's hyper-personalized. It really depends on, what it is that you bring to the market that's super different, that's unique to you, that's going to create those visceral connections because of exactly what you already are. And again, when organizations are trying to scale or trying to bring in rapidly grow a whole new membership base, they often kind of make things a lot more vague, or they try and make the bucket a lot bigger. And so I'm always kind of focusing people on making that bucket smaller. And by making the bucket smaller, getting more specific, telling a more specific story about what your organization's all about, what your particular mission is, who exactly you're looking to connect with, you can actually create stronger ties that help you grow faster. It's a little counterintuitive, but it works every time.
Well, exactly. And one of the things that we've done with Phase 2 Solutions with our premier solution, which is Social Hub Site, which is geared towards associations, obviously, is we said, okay, instead of going after the association market, there's a ton of vendors, especially in the online community space, a ton of vendors that are going after that. That are saying, hey, we're going after associations. They're going after the very large associations, right? The ones with a lot of budget, the ones that are maybe seeking out these type, or that have somebody on their payroll that can go and seek out types of software like this. But nobody's really paying attention to the small association. What about the small association that has under 2,000 members that really does need help, that is trying to grow, that is trying to build their membership, that has unique challenges? We realized that too, even with the Social Hub Site, was that large associations, with the challenges they deal with a lot of times, some are similar, just like in any association, but then there's a lot of differences in some of the challenges that they face. So we realized, okay, hey, let's serve the small association. We've always wanted to really build communities for a greater good. That's been our mission at Phase 2 Solutions. But we realized that if we went after the small association, we could understand specifically their needs, specifically their problems, And inherently, what we end up learning is that there's these chances to grow within by focusing on the small association, because a lot of these associations have multiple chapters. Maybe they're statewide, so there's 50 other associations just like them. And now we're able to really tailor our product, tailor our solution, which we have. We tailored our pricing, tailored our process, tailor the way our technology is built around their needs to make sure that we're using open source, that we're being flexible in that. So we're not building a proprietary software that's only going to work for 100 clients. So we have to charge $100,000 a year for the service. That even just that little story in our case, has been a tremendous success, but it also has taken a lot of focus for me in the beginning. The first 5 years of Social Hub site was a mess, going after the small, going after the small business, trying to market to the small business, and realizing, hey, we didn't really have a market. But it wasn't until we realized that, one, it took a lot of stress off my shoulders, being the CEO of the company, trying to figure out how are we going to have a budget for any of this. But the second part was, having, once we can focus, we can at least start to measure the right things, which can really help. So I totally get it from the focus standpoint.
Yeah, and I like that you really brought up the effect that it has on the product, as well as the effect that it has on the marketing, because we tend to think about, knowing your customer in terms of marketing almost exclusively, or sales almost exclusively, but it really has a lot to do with product development, or, for an association, it has to do with, what kind of membership benefits are you going to offer? How are you going to structure communication? How are you going to connect members? If you know exactly who you're going after, and you've got those 3 or 5 people, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but those 3 or 5 people, those 3 or 5 members that you're really trying to cater to, you're going to end up engineering your product so that it does the marketing for you, so that it's a no-brainer when it comes to sales. And that helps you differentiate in the market as well.
Yeah, and that's with once the key thing, and another great example of that was not to take up all the time or anything with this, but it's a great example. With Social Hub site, we've been able to we've created our own Social Hub site called Associations Connect. So go figure, Associations Connect, and a community specifically for association leaders. One of the we were challenged a little bit at the beginning, because we were reaching out to association management consultants and management companies as a way to hey, let's go on here, let's contribute. You can do webinars on here, which record and all this kind of stuff, and to get in front of the associations. But we realized a lot of their questions was, okay, what's the difference between this and these 10 other communities that are also catering to associations? A lot of the ones that the national organizations are providing and everything else. And so I had to really think, okay, we have to tailor this again to the small association. We can't go after, so that changed the tagline, it changed the focus. The registration fields are specific to, do you serve small associations, or are you a small association leader yourself? And just that focus has, like I said, it's been tremendous in our standpoint. But even just working with associations, hearing their stories, it's the ones that are growing are the ones that are really paying attention to their members. They're sending out surveys constantly. They're trying to engage in different ways. That's why they're looking at things like Social Hub site, which aren't email marketing and just kind of one-way communications. So I think that's that listening part for a lot of people, for a lot of organizations, is what they're missing.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
So that's great. That's great. Tara, moving on a little bit. So we talked a little bit about focus. With the areas of with growth of an association or an association that's trying to attract new members, what specifically should they be listening to? Is it, or I guess, or how should they be listening? Is it phone calls? Is it surveys? What's the method of listening?
Yeah, I use social media as listening. A lot of people think about social media as broadcasting. You're going to put out your updates, you're going to send out your links, you're going to tell people what you have to offer, you're going to show them your new membership special. But I think more businesses, more associations should be spending a dominant amount of their time listening on social media. Find lists or create lists of your members, of prospective members, of people that are doing and saying things in your industry, and start listening there. I do think surveys are a fantastic tool as well, although you have to do them correctly. And a lot of people don't do them correctly. A lot of people use surveys to, and basically, the concept of confirmation bias, right? Surveys have confirmation bias all over them. If you've got an idea of what's correct and you write your survey around that idea, yeah, people will confirm what you think, and it still doesn't mean that it's right. So you really have to write surveys in a way that are, kind of open-ended, give people an opportunity to really tell you what's on their mind as opposed to confirming what you already think. And I also think that too many people write surveys from their perspective too. So, you can't ask about your association. You can't ask about your organization. You need to ask about the customer. What are you frustrated with right now? What obstacles are in your way? What goals do you have? What questions are keeping you up at night? I think any of those questions apply to just about any organization. And the more you know about those particular things, the more you can create solutions from within your organization that are going to satisfy those things for your members, make them happier campers, and have them telling more people about what you're doing. So social media, surveys for sure. Phone calls are great. Email marketing's great. Just sending out an email to your members and saying, tell me what's on your mind right now. I mean, some of those things that don't scale are some of the most successful things that you can do to create scale in the end. So even if you just send out an email and ask, instead of sending a survey, what's your number one challenge right now when it comes to blank? Send out that email and say, hit reply. Don't fill in the box, hit reply, hit us back. Someone's going to read it. We'll get back to you when we can, right? It's that simple, just to make people feel really heard and for you to get incredible data that you can't otherwise get. So that's how I go about doing it, and how I think are some really successful channels. And then I've already kind of mentioned this, but I just want to say again, I think the things you need to be listening for are people's goals, frustrations, obstacles, and desires, and questions. Sorry, 5 things. Goals, frustrations, obstacles, desires, and questions. If you can hear those things, then you can create solutions to help either ease that pain or help people get what they really want. And when you do that, and when you reflect, your members' words right back to them, they're going to feel seen, heard, and understood. They're going to have, again, that visceral connection that we started with. They're going to be around for longer. They're going to pay their dues longer, and they're going to refer more people to you. And I think that's ultimately what we all want.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. And the same is true in a business with an entrepreneur or any organization, really, is people, they want that method of being able to give feedback. But like you mentioned also, is they want to know that their voice is being heard. I mean, how many surveys have you filled out that you never hear back?
No, I know.
Like, okay, hey, I wrote, especially if there's and I love the surveys that they ask for a lot of open-ended questions. So maybe they've done the questioning right. So they've opened it up where I can basically go on there and either bash them, or say, hey, this is what I don't like, or this is what I like. Probably going to write a little bit more about what I don't like than I like. But the key thing is that if I'm going to write 3 or 4, paragraphs on something, if I'm very passionate about it, then I want to know that my voice is being heard. That's my biggest challenge of being part of other associations and organizations is, or membership-driven organizations is, okay, we've done the surveys, I've given the feedback, but what's been done to implement that?
Yeah, exactly. And I think personal responses are really good, but it doesn't have to be that either. Sure. Just simply sending an email that says, in our recent survey, this is what we heard you say. And, list those top 3 obstacles or list those top 3 goals and say, this is what we're going to do, to make that easier for you or to help you reach those goals. It doesn't have to be something that doesn't scale. It can absolutely be speaking to your membership as a whole, but I totally totally agree. Making sure people know that that survey data is actually going somewhere and making changes is huge. Another thing that I thought of while you were talking is that a lot of times businesses and organizations frame their surveys as do us a favor. And I think surveys should be about doing your customer a favor. And so that's how I always encourage clients to frame it up, is this isn't about me, this is about you. I want to make things better for you. I want to help you get to your goals. I want to help you solve your problems. That's why you should take this survey. Not because you're doing me a favor. You don't need, you're already doing me a favor. You're a member, you're a customer. So I think that's really important too.
Well, and another thing with that, just to kind of go with that, you see what your thoughts are, is, video, maybe getting your members on video I think a big missed opportunity. We visit, hundreds of, our business development team visits literally hundreds of different association websites every single day. That's scanning to find out, hey, what organizations would be a fit, what might not be a fit, what are some of the challenges, what are they about, just learning about them. And one of the common missed opportunities. This goes back to a discussion I had with Andy Crestodina from Orbit Media about what makes a really good, effective website, and what really captures people's attention when they get there. Is I think a big missed opportunity is getting your members to actually get them on video and put that on your front page, or put that right in front of people that are looking to join the organization. What are your thoughts with something like that?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, anytime you can show off your customers or show off your members, I think that's a huge opportunity. I'm putting on a conference in a couple of months out in Portland, and that was one of my big goals for the conference. So it's not just getting the people there, not just getting the speakers there, but also making sure that we walk away from that conference with a fantastic testimonial reel of a cross section of who our customers are, so that I can use that in marketing in the future. I've not used video that way in the past, although I do hangouts and webinars and things where I am able to showcase clients and customers. But I have definitely used it with photography in the past. So just even having images of who your members are, what they're saying, how you've helped them, what results they've created because of being a part of what you've created. That's huge. And it helps people see themselves as a part of your organization, which helps them feel seen and heard and understood.
Exactly. So Tara, what, just moving on a little bit further here with this, as far as membership growth, as you see, and could be the same for, a business, but obviously with associations and trying to grow their membership. Where, with a membership that has maybe a small, maybe one or two people, and maybe they're volunteer driven, and this is a big question that I get a lot, which is, okay, how do we market? How do we grow our membership? We only have so much time during the day. We don't have a full-time staff. We don't. Again, this is another problem that small associations face, is they don't have a marketing director. They don't have a communications director or coordinator to be able to facilitate social media campaigns. What are your suggestions for those types of organizations, the smaller organizations, to focus on? Again, just using that, going back to that idea of the focus.
Yeah.
Where should they be focusing in terms of growth?
Well, this is a great question. I think really to piggyback on what we were just talking about, I think if you don't have the resources to create content, to create social media updates, to create the marketing assets that you really want, you need to turn your members into the stars, or turn your customers into the stars. Get them to be your source of content. Have them write emails, have them write blog posts. What's worked for them? What tips do they have? What questions have they figured out for themselves that might help other people in the organization? And use that everywhere. Post it on your blog, post it on your Facebook page, post it on your Instagram account, wherever you are online. And of course, you can do it offline as well. If you're sending out a newsletter, if you are writing press releases for the newspaper doesn't want to hear about you. The newspaper wants to hear about your members, right? So use that to your advantage. Make sure you're constantly sourcing content, stories, case studies from within your organization, and use that as the face of what you do. And that again, it makes your members into really the stars of the show. And that's going to be super attractive in in addition to putting out really helpful content.
Yeah, and I think that's, one of the, just to follow up on that, is with technology. And an example of this, we have a client with Social Hub Site that on their association, there's a built-in invitation tool for the existing members. So existing members can invite their Facebook contacts, LinkedIn contacts, email contacts, Gmail contacts, whatever, basically any kind of network you can think about. They can invite them, but the invitation, the standard default message that goes out, it is actually, hey, come check out the organization. Here's the website. Here's where you can register. And what they've been able to do is actually, we've tied that directly into gamification. So they've actually tied it to if you invite X number of people, or you invite somebody that actually signs up, we'll automatically reward you with a certain badge of some sort. With the organization we work with, there's pretty funny badge names with this. I don't know if I can disclose it, but but that's the kind of thing it gets. But it's systematic. It's not necessarily like an individual saying. I mean, obviously their focus is, okay, we do have time to be able to send the message out. We can go on. We can whether it's through email, or in this case, they can do it directly through their social hub site. But they can say, hey, earn your next, here's a badge. And with this badge, you also get, a cherry pie or something like that to go, or, a Starbucks gift card for $50. And when you can start to make that systematic, I think that's something that has worked. Actually, the organization we work with, our association that we work with, has increased. I think they're close to 100 new members right now. They're going up to 1,000. They started with about 150. So
nice.
That's a great example of that strategy. And it's great to hear you say that, because it's one of these things that I think if you can take the concept, you take the concept there of knowing where to focus, right? Focusing on the members, but tying it into the technology or the platform, as I would say, purpose, people, platform, process, tying that type of focus on the people into the right platforms with the right process. So getting that system to work is pretty critical.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
So it's a little bit, obviously it's a little bit of geek talk with that. But again, I think that's with a lot of associations, they really need to start looking at what can we leverage, how can we start to take these concepts and build them into, to help them grow our community systematically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, small business owners have the exact same problem too, is that they're so constantly kind of in the weeds of their business that they're not thinking about where the opportunities are to build systems and to build leverage. And I think that marketing is actually, and especially, marketing that's focused on your members and focused on highlighting your members, is a really great opportunity to build really robust systems that take care of you over and over and over again, with you having to put very little effort into them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, systems like Zapier, which
Yes.
I love. I'm a huge fan. Actually,
Me too.
We have an interview with them. Actually, interviewing their CEO coming up here shortly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but they're again, that's probably one of my most favorite products actually out there. Not to again, I'm not being paid by them or anything like that. But systems like that empower you to do more, truly do more with less, from a multitude of different systems. So I think, more, then you can focus a lot less on the administrative side and more on the business side, like you said, with the focus. Let's have, maybe if we can get, this 70% of it, done through marketing automation, through something like Zapier, can we now focus on that non-scalable type of activities,
Yeah, absolutely.
So great. Well, so just to finish up here, Tara, what are some of the opportunities, services, products that an association, small business, what are some of those opportunities that they can take advantage of from your perspective?
You mean like trend-wise, like what's coming, or?
From your, sorry.
From me.
Yeah. From your
sorry. I'm terrible at pitching myself, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a number of training programs. Our flagship sort of foundational business strategy, which is basically building your brand, your business model, and your marketing campaigns around that, and really focusing them on your customers or your members. That's coming up next month, and that's just called Quiet Power Strategy, the foundation. But you can find information basically on everything at quietpowerstrategy.com. We've got a number of free resources there too. So everything from, thinking about how you're going to plan your revenue for the year to thinking about what you really need to focus on this year to create the best results. We've got resources there for that, and I would love for people to check it out.
That's great. So with that, again, associations that are interested in that, how would they best access that? Is it through the website? Is it through social media?
Yeah, definitely through the website. I mean, you can find me on social media too. Twitter is the best place to get in touch with me. If you've got questions, if you want to know where something specifically is or what's specifically for you, you can find me on Twitter at Tara Gentile. But yeah, otherwise, quietpowerstrategy.com is the place to go.
Excellent. Well, Tara, I think this has been an excellent interview. I think we, really touched on a lot of the points with focus. We've touched on, especially for association membership-driven organizations, diving into utilizing their members as part of their marketing. But we also talked about some of the systems that are involved with that. And I think for a lot of associations out there that are watching this interview, even a lot of, especially a lot of the entrepreneurs, a lot of the members of these associations, thinking about, how can you start to utilize focus, make focus actually an asset, or to make it a driving asset in your company or organization is critical, because otherwise you spend money in the wrong places, you spend time in the wrong places, and that's where I think Tara and your team can really help you with that, help you define exactly where you should be focusing, how to make that focus possible. And Tara, I'm going to be referring a lot of organizations to you. I think
Awesome.
We all need focus, or at least a check on focus for sure on a regular basis. So I think that's excellent. So great. So Tara, I think that concludes today's interview. Is there anything else you want to say before we jump off?
I don't think so. I think I said my piece. Thank you so much.
Well, great. Again, thanks everyone for watching today's interview at expertsonissues.com. Or wherever you're watching this interview. Obviously, we always share, this is syndicated on a lot of different websites that we publish the content on. So Tara, again, thanks for coming on, and be sure to tune in next time. Thanks, everyone.